Hey, everyone, it's Isaiah. Welcome. Let me show you my that of my guest for today. So, this is another episode of Isaiah's Inspiring Evenings podcast. And this is one of the series that I love so much, which is called Things Women Don't Talk About. And it's about the topics that we never talk about because they're either too taboo or mundane. Depends on which side of the story you look. And today I have the great honor to have an amazing guest. Hi, Pia. So we're meeting Pia Becker today. For those of you who don't know Pia, I'm going to introduce her in just a minute. And our topic is one of those topics that we seldom talk about, and that is, what if your dreams seem not to manifest? What then? So we're going to talk about that. But before we go into that, let me introduce Pia, and I'm going to read her bio because that's the easiest way for me to tell you who she is. So Pia is a dream manifestation mentor. Isn't that great? At Dream and Wanderland. She helps women discover, explore, and reconnect to their dreams and support them in turning them into reality. Woohoo! So that everyone can live a life that is truly meant for them. Her journey began in 2014 when she eventually started to wander and fulfill her childhood dream of traveling the world, one country at a time, whenever it was possible. Today, she is working on making another dream come true by transitioning from her corporate job to the freedom of her own business that allows her to help others fulfill their dreams too. And that's what Dreams and Wonderland is all about, right? Sorry, I've lost your face now. Just give me a minute. Where are you? So yeah, there you are. Sorry. Talking about dreams is one of those things that we do very often, right? It's a nice thing. We talk about the dream, and we talk about the amazing dreams and law of attraction and how to manifest our dreams. And then what we don't talk about is what happens when it doesn't manifest, when it seems that nothing is happening, when we're stuck in the, okay, do I dare to say that, but it's not happening, and what do I do? So this is the topic today, the juicy topic of, do we let go? Do we just forget about it? Or do we do anything else? So let's start, though, by being a little optimistic, and let's say that you remind us how to dream, Pia. So what do we first? How do we dream? Not that we, how do you recommend we dream? So do we construct a dream?
As big as possible.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So, I think the most difficult thing with actually dreaming is to allow ourselves to actually dream, because for so many generations and whatever time periods, especially for us women, it was always said, be quiet, don't have any kind of ambitions, and bring some babies and keep the household
Yeah.
together.
There's
And
some cooking to be done.
right. And I mean, there's no wonder that we have issues with actually dream, have ambitions, allow ourselves to dream.
Have
And
desires. Yeah.
definitely the first step to actually allow ourselves to actually have dreams. And then step by step, connect to what do we want? What do we desire, as you said already? How do we want to live? What do we want to do for work, for example, or where do we want to live? And go through all those kinds of questions. And
So I'm guessing first step of the way is giving oneself permission to dream, to
yes,
just go for it, and whether it is reasonable, quote unquote, or whether it makes sense, or whether it's crazy big, it doesn't matter. Your dream is your dream.
exactly.
So this is the happy step that we can talk about very at length. But we are not here to talk about the happy step. We are here to talk about what happens when you've
Yeah.
given yourself permission. You've done the step-by-step thing. You've imagined what you want to have, who you want to be, what you want to be doing in the next few months, years, whatever. And then here you are, and it's not happening.
Yeah, you maybe even have a plan how to do the things and get there, and still you don't see any kind of results.
Hmm.
Happens
So,
sometimes.
yes, it does happen. I agree. It happened to me many times because I started dreaming early on. I gave myself permission, and then there's a lot of things that maybe I was not actually not ready for that didn't, and that's maybe why it didn't happen. Anyway, it didn't. So what's your first advice when I come to the realization that it's not happening?
Take a moment to pause, and if you feel like it, scream, cry, whatever it's needed in that moment. It's totally fine to do that. I did that myself, and it the next moment when I allowed myself again, the permission thing, to actually feel the feeling, the emotions, the disappointment, maybe even just feel it through. And usually there is a kind of scientific study that an emotion stays for about 90 seconds or something, that it's
Hmm.
actually that bad.
Hmm.
So why not just feeling that 90 seconds, and then everything
Yeah,
is.
I love that you say that because there's a lot of us who, with all this law of attraction, manifestation teachings that are around, we are taught that negative emotions. No, 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 no. Don't feel. Don't
Yeah,
talk about them. Don't. But the truth is, when my dream it doesn't seem to be manifesting, I am angry. I am sad. I'm disappointed. I'm pissed, basically, and expressing that emotion and giving it those 90 seconds as you were mentioning is actually getting it out of the way, whereas
yeah,
if I try to negate it or pretend it doesn't exist, it stays there. It
yeah.
stays
And
this.
it's growing bigger, and you're in the end you're just frustrated with everything, and this is not our goal, and definitely anything that we don't want, right?
Mhm.
So
Okay, so we give ourselves the grace, we scream and shout and go and scream at trees. Please don't scream at people though. And don't hit anyone. You can hit cushions or the couch, or but and that will take the edge off, basically, of the
mhm,
disappointment.
yeah.
And then
Next thing with what I do is actually taking my journal out and go through all the tiny little things that already happened, and try to reflect what I have done, what I have achieved so far. Like, I mean, the dream, when we start to dream, and the end result of the dream is usually a huge or a long journey, and on the way we already did things, and some has worked, some might not, and but I can't believe that there's nothing that has not worked at all. So
yeah, like you dream of I'm going to take a very personal example here. So one of my dreams was crossing the Atlantic on a ship, so going from Southampton to New York on a boat, Titanic style. That was a dream from, I think I was 7 years old when it hit me. And sorry. So I'm 56. I'm going to be 57 next week. So basically, it's 50 years in the making, right?
yeah.
So it's not like it's 50 years where I've done nothing towards this goal. It's not like I've achieved it. I've never done that yet. It's not also that it hasn't already brought me joy.
Mm.
Some of the steps that I took, like I went to New York. I didn't go on a ship, but I went to New York,
Mhm.
and that was a joyful event. I bought a postcard of the Queen Mary 2, and I put it on my wall. And every time I watch it, it gives me joy, and this joy cannot be taken away from me.
Exactly. And those are all the little things that already happened on the way towards it. So I literally just take my journal and write it out and write it down, and if I have a bad moment again, then I actually read through it and remember all the things that already happened. And
Yeah, because
these,
we are wired. I read that somewhere recently that our brain is wired to remember the bad things, the sad things, the difficult things more than the happy ones. So all these little tiny
Mhm.
steps that we have taken towards our dream might actually be lost
Mhm.
in the
Yes,
sands of time or sands of memory. Let's put it
yeah.
this way.
And
So
in the
it's
end,
useful to journal about them.
yeah, and in the end, it's depending on how you personally are created or designed, or however you want to call it. Some people let themselves influence by the bad things that are still in their memories and totally forgot about the good things, like
Hmm.
me, for example. And even if something really amazing, like publishing a book or something, happens, then it's I'm excited for a second or so, and then I put it
Done.
away. Now it's there, and then, well, that's it.
Mm.
And this is that drives me crazy. I drive myself crazy about this. See and can't acknowledge how amazing I actually am, and
Hmm.
how what amazing things I have done already. Although I'm not there yet for my dream
Hmm.
or some of my dreams, but I have made happen so many things already, and to actually journal it and writing it down and read through it, it's I can't believe that I've done all the
Hmm.
things. And yeah,
You
like,
were talking about publishing a book. I can join there because I've
mhm,
been writing a book for 3 4 years now, and my dream would be to publish it, obviously, and so I did take some steps, and for a while I wasn't seeing anything happening. First of all, I wrote the freaking book, right? Which
yeah,
is in and of itself a freaking event for me, at least. It's a novel. It's more than 200 pages, and it's written in English, which is my third language. So yes,
mm,
I'm freaking proud of it.
yes,
And then when it was finished, I stopped.
mm,
I stopped and I read it again because I thought, hey, I did that. But it was, I was almost ready to dismiss it. And
mm,
then a little voice said, hey, maybe you need to acknowledge it at least.
yes,
Um,
and
and yeah,
eventually it's there.
I'm
Yeah,
learning. I'm learning. Thank you
yeah,
for the lessons. I'm learning to acknowledge at least, what the steps that have been taken.
mm. And the next thing, when you see what you have done there, what amazing things has happened already, and how much progress you might have been on the journey, celebrate the. I is it allowed to say that?
Yes, you can go for that. I don't care.
Celebrate the fuck out of it, how amazing you are, and scream it out into the world, share it with other people, maybe get into celebration circuits or something like that, and share it,
You're happy.
cheer on to other people. And
Yeah, it's
you
kind of
know
like blowing some joy into a balloon, right? The celebration thing, and that we make it bigger. We make the
yeah,
joy bigger by sharing it with other people instead of just, okay, this is done. Let me do the next thing now.
yeah,
Um, I just take some time to be in this energy of celebration, and
mm,
that changes everything because, as we know, and I'm guessing if you're listening to the podcast, you know that energy is everything. So
yes,
whatever my vibration is, that will change the world, or
mhm,
my world at least.
yeah,
So the celebration brings joy and, accomplishment, the feeling of accomplishment,
mhm,
and the confidence also that
yeah,
um, if I've
that's
done this, I could do more.
exactly. And the motivation, of course, that you
Mhm.
can actually. do the next thing because you already managed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and as more as you repeat it, as more as it gets a habit, and then suddenly you change from a person who only focus on the bad things to a person who knows their worth as well,
Mm-hmm.
and see and appreciate and acknowledge the person you are, the
Mm-hmm.
person that is able to do all the things and can, I don't know, conquer the world if you like. It's
Absolutely.
right.
Yeah. And I think that, this goes for every kind of dream. It's like, if you say, I want to be a millionaire, but then the first 10 euros that you make, you say, oh, this is just only 10 euros. I don't care. It's not, it doesn't matter. Well, guess what? There's not going to be another 10.
Yeah.
But if you put them aside and celebrate yourself, well, I've made these 10 euros, or I found 10 euros on the street, by the way, because you don't need to make them, whatever. But it's the celebration that not only establishes our confidence, but also literally calls for more.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then
how the magic happens.
focus on the good things, the more good will happen. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And I love that you talk about that in terms of dreams, because there's I've heard this conversation around goals,
Mhm.
or money goals, or like I said, I want to be a millionaire, etc. But I love that we go for, in this conversation, around the dreams, because dreams very often seem to be either a success or a failure, like there is no in between.
Mhm.
And it's not true. It's not true, because I there is no way I will be a published author if I don't write the book. And you write the book one word at a time, one page at a time, and then you send the book to the publisher. Again, it's preparing it's one day at a time. It's not like either I get the whole thing tomorrow, or I'm a failure and let me go and weep somewhere.
Yeah, it's like me with the traveling. It always was my dream to travel the world, and in my younger teenage me, I thought the only way of traveling the world is buying a around the world ticket and do it at once. And
Hmm.
eventually, I haven't done it in once because I always had to work or university or whatever, and only got 3 weeks in a row as vacation time. So how should I do it in once, right? But I do traveling. I do it. I have been to so and
You've
so.
just come back from Philadelphia, have you?
Yes, exactly.
I
And
love
tomorrow I go
Philadelphia. I was
to,
going to go this year, and it didn't happen. I'm so
yeah,
excited. So you stayed there for what, 3 weeks, a month?
4 weeks in
Four
total. Yeah,
weeks. Amazing. Amazing.
including 1 week of work from there for, yeah. And I loved it. It was exactly what I needed. It was a dream that grew over time, and eventually this now was the time that I made that one happen. And
Hmm.
yes, now it feels like a circle is completed somehow.
Hmm. Awesome. I love
Um,
that. I
yeah,
think we also need to remind everyone who's listening, that there are many dreams.
yeah,
That some dreams, for instance, there very, very many people dream of having a house, or
mhm.
having a second house. For me, that's not a dream, that's a nightmare. I have a house, well, with my husband and my kids, we share a house, and I'm really happy with it. And I want to travel the world. I do not want another house, right? That would mean
Mhm.
of the house. If a house that you don't live in needs
Mhm.
repairs all the time, needs, I don't want that. I want to clean that is, I just arrive and everything is functional and everything is good. And if it doesn't work, I'll just lift the phone and scream at the person, you know. So the dream of, having, oh, I want a beach house. I don't want a beach house. Have you seen how much the sea can destroy a house? I don't want to be the
Mm-hmm.
person to fix it. I just want to be renting it. And, which means, I'm going to go for an example. For instance, a few years back, one of my dreams was to spend a month by the sea. And it was not for a beach thing. I wanted to do that in the winter. I wanted to be by the
Mm-hmm.
ocean
Yeah,
or by the sea in the
I
winter.
understand.
And I thought this is absolutely impossible, basically, because I don't own a house by the sea, and a month is a long time. And where am I going to get the money, etc., etc.? And then I challenged myself, and I really had a look,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah.
found out that no, it's not that expensive, and I could actually afford it,
Yeah.
depending on which part of the world I chose. And I have, I was very specific also. I wanted the Atlantic Ocean. Wanted the Northern Atlantic, etc., etc. And I found a house, and we actually rented it. We didn't go because something else happened. So my son was very ill, and then my husband was ill. Anyway, but sometimes we also we don't trust our dreams to be feasible, and we destroy
Mm-hmm.
them. At
Yeah.
least I've done that, uh, because I just didn't check it out. I just didn't go to. So one other thing before you maybe consider that your dream is a failure is check if it's not feasible right now, in a
Mm-hmm.
slightly different way maybe. And then so we didn't go. So I was slightly disappointed, right? And then I have a phone call with my aunt who owns a beach house, and she says, "Oh, do you want to come to my house? I'll give it to you for free for a month because no one goes there in February, so you can have it for February." And I ended up spending. So it was not North Atlantic, it was Greece, it was the Mediterranean, but yet, so my dream kind of shifted a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
still it happened,
Yeah.
and it didn't feel like a failure. It felt like a shift.
Yeah.
So I don't know about what you think about that. It,
It's
it
the same thing with my traveling thing. The original dream was like a traveling around the world and continue traveling. And in the end, I hop from, or for the past 10 years, I hop from one vacation to the another vacation, every time a different country. And so
for now,
it's different, yes, but hey, the half of the world I've already done. So hey, who
yeah,
said that in
yeah,
the end this journey just lasts for 1 year, or I don't know how long you usually travel around with such a around the world ticket. Or I mean, the digital nomads nowadays
mhm,
do it the entire time. But
yeah,
who says? I mean, I have probably seen the same amount of countries as they did
mhm.
in a different way in a
So,
shorter
so
period. But
to
I
anyone
did
who
so.
listens, trust that your dreams can shapeshift and still be a success and still happen. Sometimes we're so focused
So
on yeah, this little
yeah,
square box of a dream that if it's not exactly like that, then it's not a success. That we literally kill it.
I mean, there's this saying, at least in German, a million ways lead to Rome. I don't know if there's a similar in English,
Yeah,
but
in French at
I
least.
think
I don't know about
that
the
is
English.
so. It's the same thing. The dream can have so many different phases and results and outcomes and journeys, and so
Yeah, so dreams are you mentioned that when we prepped the episode, and you said making your dreams come true is a marathon, not a sprint. And I love that. It's about making sure that you do spend the time to make it come true, to make your dreams come true. It's not like I just wish upon a star and then I'll go and do something completely different and then hope that it happens.
yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense. It's something that you need to be working at and keeping track, as we said, of the little steps that bring you closer to it, right?
Mhm.
And if you get off track, well, put yourself back on track, I'm guessing.
I mean, it always can happen that, I mean, obviously we are growing and developing and get older and what else. And of course, it happens that sometimes dreams change as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of my dreams still is to have at least 4 houses on my own, 3 at the beach, and or no, 2 at the beach and one in Philadelphia. And for the third quarter, I was still thinking.
Awesome. I love
So
that.
like having a home base at least for every quarter of the year.
Oh, I
And
love
the
that.
ultimate dream is to have all my stuff already there. It doesn't matter if it's fourth time the same stuff, but no need for packing my suitcase anymore. Just grabbing my handbag, my laptop, and then everything is already there. And when I'm
Ooh,
not
that's a
there,
nightmare for me. I love it. I love it because,
nightmare packing my freaking
I love
suitcase
packing.
all the
I
time.
love packing. It's part of for me, it's part of the voyage. It's part of the dream. Um,
I
so
mean,
yeah,
if it's already packed, then it's fine. I can live out of a suitcase for months and no issues. But to think about what I want to take with me, and then I travel usually with carry-on only, then it needs to be a
I
smaller
think that's
wardrobe.
exactly, this conversation is exactly what people need to hear. Dreams are so personal.
Yeah,
We both love traveling. We both have dreams of travel, and they couldn't be more different. And
yeah,
that means that whatever your dream is, you who are listening, your dream needs to be specific. You need to take time to really define it and then work towards it. For me, it was buying a very expensive suitcase because no, I'm not traveling carry on. I love packing. I love my suitcase. And it was, buying the suitcase was a step towards
yeah.
traveling. Taking myself seriously as a traveler meant I need the proper attire. So I've got a suitcase. I also decided, you're going to see where I'm leading you here. I also decided that if I'm going to be traveling and I want to be not traveling too heavy, I need a capsule wardrobe. So I
Mhm.
started to actually buy clothes that I could pack easily because they all go together.
Yeah.
So my travel attire is one color and one color only. Now, the rest of my clothes, I've got many clothes, but when I travel, I know that I'll only take the blue ones. So so these are steps. Every time I'm buying myself a pair of blue knickers, I'm going towards my goal or my dream of
Mhm.
traveling. And that obviously costs way less than the actual travel. So this I can do every month or every 2 months or every 6 months. And that gives me this feeling of going forward in my dreams.
That's
So
why I love to travel in summer or to warmer countries. So the summer clothes are always a little bit tinier than the big winter clothes.
I love that.
Yeah. So what I want to say with a house buying stuff, I don't know yet if I really would like it to actually own that house because, as you said, you have to take care of it. You need someone who takes care of it when you are not there. In my
But it
case, I
doesn't
will need
matter, For now,
renting.
your dream is that, and
So,
it.
yeah,
Um,
for
I'm.
now, that is my dream, but no one says that when I actually experience that
You
finally,
can change your mind.
sometime, hopefully, maybe I don't like it anymore. And then my dream is it to get rid of all the houses and to start only renting
Buy a
stuff.
tiny house somewhere.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
example.
and I think that or you think, okay, this is now I've got these 4 houses, but now I need personnel. I need people to take care of it. So my new dream
Yeah,
is to have a butler in each house that takes care of the whole
yeah.
house when I'm not there, and then when I'm
Mhm.
there, they start cooking for me or whatever. Um,
Oh, that
so
would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I agree. But for me, that this is the thing that you were talking about when you at the beginning you said it's not big enough, and I
Mhm.
think that's part of our um, feeling or yeah, the sensation that we are failing in our dream, in making our dreams come true, might also come because we don't dream big enough. We go for the dream that has no energy in and of itself. It's like it will not pull you out of bed to make it happen because it's not. It's like I'm going to tell you, okay, you can have your four houses, but they're going to be shabby and very cheap and not
Yeah, no,
comfortable.
thank you.
Well, then why the hell would you buy them? So why the hell would you get out of bed with
Maybe I can
energy
flip
to buy
them
them?
and think them again.
Exactly. You're making the dream bigger now. So that's what I was saying, that we need a dream big enough to get us out of bed, because
Yeah.
otherwise, like, we're
Otherwise,
humans and
why?
humans have a good sense of comfort, right? So a comfort zone,
Mhm.
and if it's too comfortable, as we know, nothing ever happens in our comfort zone. So it's basically about having a dream that will, in and of itself, pull me out of bed every day with, or every week with, how can I move forward towards it? So maybe if your dreams are
Mhm.
not coming true, make them bigger.
Yeah.
Because remember, and we've discussed that before, but please remember that dreaming is free, that you can dream as
Yeah.
freaking big as you want. And by dreaming bigger, it doesn't make it less plausible or less feasible, just better. Bigger is better in dreams, at least.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
maybe a pro tip. If you have such a big dream and you don't see it happen very soon, then it might help to have little pieces out of it and already experiences right now, like no, um, staying at a beach house during
yeah,
winter in North Atlantic, North America. Happened not yet, fine, but you already experienced how it is to actually be in a beach house, and
yeah. Um,
so
and
you already
for me,
felt
that
that.
the best example of that is, so I told you, my one of my biggest and oldest dream is to cross the Atlantic on a ship.
Mhm,
And I have used every freaking occasion for the last 50 years to climb aboard
mhm,
any freaking ferry boat, ship that I could find all over the place. So whether I was going to England and just crossing the channel, I would never use the tunnel. I will take a boat. When I'm going
mhm,
to Greece, I will try with a car. I will never drive. I will always take the ship from Italy to Greece. I from When I go to Greece, which is very frequent because I'm of Greek origin, and I want to go to an island, I will never take an airplane. I will always take a ship or a boat, because it's
already that.
like a sample of this, and it gives me the feeling of it and the joy of
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really about the sampling your dreams and feeling the joy and celebrating every one of those
Every
steps is
single one of them. Every boat trip and every beach house and
yeah.
yeah.
And every for me it starts with even movies. So I love movies with where
Mhm,
there are ships, and I indulge in them. I read the books about those. It's like every um every opportunity basically to
mhm.
feel as I imagine I would feel on that ship, I've
Yeah.
used for 50 years. And I'm gonna cry here, but I'm leaving Saturday. I'm crossing the Atlantic on a ship this Saturday. So this
Awesome.
no this I'm starting, the journey starts on Sunday, but I'm leaving my home Saturday, and I am crossing the Atlantic on the Queen Mary 2, starting Sunday, April 27th,
Oh,
2024.
that's
So whenever you're listening to this podcast, I just wanted to sell, to everyone, because if we're talking about dreams that seem not to manifest for 50 freaking years, well, here it
Exactly.
goes. I'm doing it. I'm doing it next week.
Yeah.
So, one
Oh,
thing
that's
that I want to
lovely.
encourage everyone is to not give up on your dreams.
Yeah. And there are so
Unless
many other
unless you don't
examples.
fancy them anymore. But if you fancy them, even if they don't seem to be getting any way nearer, you never know. It took me freaking 50 years, but I'm doing it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really cool. I'm really excited.
that's
Yeah. So, um, what kind of celebration would you recommend for the small steps, for the things that we've now seen in our journals, and we felt the feeling of, oh, this was an accomplishment, this was a step in the
Mhm.
direction of my dream? What kind of celebration? Can we do the happy dance? Can we do the sharing with people? um,
Mhm.
and do you have any way that you can help us?
I do have. So one thing that you can do as well is to give you a little reward, like if you fancy a massage, like me, for example, for my book publishing or co-author a book, for example, I did let, how do you say that? I get a massage by someone. So,
Awesome.
and something like that, a nice coffee in your favorite restaurant, whatever you, it's literally be creative and let your fantasy play and so, and
Yeah, and
how I
fulfill
can help.
a small dream as a reward. Maybe some coffee shop that you don't go because it's too expensive. Well, give that as a reward for yourself. So you kind of go for, hey, this was a small dream of mine too.
Exactly. And the way I can help is because I'm a person who needs a little bit of accountability with
Mm-hmm.
sticking with those habits and making them an actual habit. I created a celebration circle where
Oh,
is
that's awesome.
women.
So we can all share together. So that's a group thing.
Exactly.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that.
it's online. It's women's only circle, so that we are in a little bit more safer space than.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it for myself when I behave different when men are
Mm-hmm.
in the room, and sometimes I don't feel as free as I would like to, and
And,
being
and
with
and
women is.
as you mentioned, there are energy for women that have been deprived of their dreams for millennia. And it's
Yeah.
good that they can just express their joy around their celebrations in a safe space.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the intention. And yeah, it's an online circle with women once a month. The next one will be the third Thursday in May. I forgot the actual date, but it's will be the third Thursday.
So you will find
Too many.
people who are listening to
Yeah.
this, you will find all the information around Pia. And I'm sure the next circle will be linked as well. You will find the information above or below the video or the audio, depending on where you're listening to this. And please remember, if you're listening to this in the future, that the dates that Pia is telling you now are for 2024. So if you're listening to us next year or in a couple of years, check what's happening. But you will have all the information with the links that Pia gave me.
Yeah. And if that's why I made it a regular thing on a specific week in a month, because it will be a monthly thing, so it's easy to remember every third week of a
I love
month,
that.
Thursday
I love that.
celebration.
You get, it's kind of a meeting with once it's a date with your dreams to celebrate where you're at, and that should actually push the manifestation of these actual dreams. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. Celebration circle. So fun.
Yes,
So fun.
we can do all the happy days together.
Oh, that's cool. I love the happy dance. Great. So, yeah, please don't give up on your dreams. Be sure that you acknowledge your awesomeness, as Pia would say that.
Because
um,
you are awesome. Every one, single one of us, we are awesome. We just need to acknowledge that and see
yeah,
that and celebrate that.
and we are all on the road to our dreams. Some of them might take 50 years, but provided we still walk and we're still alive. Um, Now, the other thing that I would like to say, because this is my life these days, so I'd like to insist that you do pursue your dreams, all of you, including myself, and
Mhm.
that you do not leave that for later,
Yes.
because there might be no later. You know, people die. I just don't want to be too dramatic about that, but I've recently have series of losses that brought me back to the very, very core of life is to live and enjoy and make our dreams come true. So please go and do it, basically. Um,
Yes.
and because one of the reasons why you might feel that they're not happening might also be because you left them on the side of the road and you kept walking. So pick them up, dust yourself off, and go and do those steps, those little tiny steps that will bring you forward. Because if you just wait for a better time, there might not be one. So literally, make your dreams come true one day at a time, starting today. you know, my motto for my business, and it has become more and more accurate every day, is start now, start small, keep going,
Hmm.
and that should make any dream become reality.
Yeah. Tiny baby steps,
Yeah,
but ongoing,
yeah,
consistently.
consistently, and then come and have fun with Pia in her
Yeah.
circles and celebrate.
And if you
Celebrate
need
all the
to break
tiny steps.
down into a plan, then I'm the one who helps you as well.
Awesome. Yes. So we can transform the dream, the vague dreaming, into something more goal oriented with a plan and steps. And oh, I love that. Yeah, I love that. I'm the
Hmm.
planning person, so awesome. Well, is there anything else that we forgot to mention? Just thinking. Um, or that you want to mention on top?
I think we covered everything that was important to me to say.
So, in a very, very short sentence, if your dreams seem to not manifest, it's not true. They are manifesting, but they're maybe not manifesting fast enough for
Yeah.
your liking. And that might be because you don't give them, in, actually, to the tiny steps. So celebrate the fuck out of them and and have fun every day and feel how closer you get to your dreams every day.
Hmm.
Whether you do want to buy the four houses or not, like me.
And enjoy the journey. Don't forget that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Of course. I remember almost all of my boat trips, and they have all been amazing, whether the ones that lasted 4 hours or 3 days or one night or a couple of hours, just because every time I was sending, and I've been doing that literally from age 7. I was sending this kind of dream of, this is just the beginning, one day you will be crossing the Atlantic. And again, this day is Sunday. So thank you very, very much, Pia, for reinforcing the idea that dreaming is important, that dreaming is big, and that we are all very talented at dreaming, even if sometimes we don't see it. And we might need some help from a specialist like you at Dream and Wanderland. So I'm going to ask one last question, which is, what is your next dream?
Oh, my next dream is to help the people manifesting their dreams.
Oh, I love that one. I love that. Well, I do know that you are taking steps towards that because you're talking to me about that, and we're broadcasting this. So, exactly doing walking your talk as per usual. Thank you very much, Pia. It was awesome to talk to you.
Welcome.
I really thank you very much to anyone who was listening to us, and we will talk to you soon.